everybody. It's Tim and B here. And what we wanted to do was just do a video off the cuff and just really talk about what 3 years of marriage have taught us, what some experiences that we went through, and in the hopes to potentially help some people that are thinking about getting married, that are married, to show like one, you're not in this alone if you are married, and two, if you are looking to get married, what some things to expect. Our experience may not be your experience. However, you do have some idea of what it takes to be married. All right. So again, I'm Tim, and go ahead, baby, introduce yourself.
My name is Vincent Pintu.
All right, perfect. And so what we're gonna do is I got some questions already prepared that keep us on track on what we were thinking to present to you guys to go forward. And I think these questions are some hard-hitting questions that will help you answer some unanswered questions that you may have. So the first question that I have for you, babe, you can ask me the same question, okay? What's one thing you've learned about yourself through marriage?
Mm. One thing I learned about myself through marriage, I would have to say that I have a bad attitude. I have a bad attitude. um, but aside from that, I am also capable of changing anything that I want to change.
Okay. Good answer. Good answer.
Oh, I'm supposed to ask you.
Yeah, you can ask me a question.
I just pick another question, or
Oh, you
can
can
I
ask the same question. Whatever you want.
Okay, babe. What's one thing you've learned about yourself through marriage?
Um, I would definitely say through marriage, I have learned that I can be selfish. And selfishness and the point of how I am is how I am, and how I move is how I move. And I have to learn that I had to learn that I'm not alone anymore. And it's a partnership. That's one of the biggest things that I've learned about myself through marriage. Um, and I'll just stop it at that. That's one of the things I learned about myself through marriage. Now, this next question, I can let you ask me the question first, so you ain't gotta go first every time. Because, like I told y'all, this off the cup, right? So we didn't practice this enough like that. So
I didn't even know he had questions.
this is raw footage straight from the gate, right? So I'll let you ask me the second question.
Okay, so how has your understanding of love evolved since saying I do? These questions are deep. Where'd you get these questions from?
Why y'all in my business? You know what I'm saying? I'll be prepared. Um, so how has my understanding of love evolved since I said I do? I'll tell you this. I really felt, and this is my personal belief, I really felt that, getting married was literally just doing paperwork. And what I mean by that is that, we was already together, what I'm saying? I had my cow. Why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free? Right? You know what I'm saying? We already had 3 kids, we were living together, all of these things that was going on, right? But once we did said I do, and we did get married, I can talk from personal experience, a person that believed that it was just paperwork. It is a different kind of love. One of the things that I have learned about love since saying I do is that we're working and building a forever love. Not just I'm in love with you right now, I'm in love with you for the month, I'm in love with you for the year. But nah, we have to develop a forever love, and developing a forever love takes work. And I found out that there are so many different levels when it comes to love, when you talk about being married. So that's my answer to that. Hopefully that was acceptable. Please don't beat me in front of the people. So I'll ask you the question. I'll ask you the question, right? How has your understanding of love evolved since saying I do?
Um, my understanding of love, how has it evolved since saying I do?
Mhm.
It just keeps taking me back to a lot. I feel like a lot of times when we say we want love and we want all the things, um, but we don't do anything to enhance or make ourselves better, be better partners. So my understanding of love is that love is action, and I know you always hear people say that, but it's an action thing. It's not just because like, oh, I'm a woman, I'm a girl, I deserve all the roses, which we do. I do, but I also have to be I also have to give love. I don't know the words like I'm trying to say. Like I also have to I have to become better to receive the love that I truly desire deep down. So thinking of my understanding of love is that love is just not you just need to love me because I'm a woman. I kind of had that mentality around the time when we first started. I knew it took partnership and I knew it took two people, but it was more so like I didn't really have to do that much self work on myself as I felt like my husband needed to do more work on himself. So for me, it's just understanding that I have a big role to play in this, and how better I become. So yeah, love to me now, since saying I do now, is me working on myself, getting better, minding my tongue, minding my thoughts about my husband, because those things shape how I interact. And one day we had switched roles, y'all, and I realized that I wasn't as pleasant as I thought I was. I wasn't as pleasant as I thought I was. So yeah, that's my understanding of love, is that I need to be pleasant. I need to be somebody who it's enjoyable to be around. Um, so yeah, and then the love kind of just it exudes, through there. So hopefully what I'm saying makes sense.
Just a quick thing on that switch of roles. Like we didn't switch like gender roles, we switched personality roles.
Yeah.
We switched personality roles. So I basically showed her what it was like living with her for a day, and she showed me what it was like living with me for a day. And we both learned something about ourselves. What I'm saying, that we want to fix and work on, definitely. So, all right, got
That
another.
was funny.
Definitely. That was a fun time. It was, I'm telling you, if you can put pride and ego aside and really just see your partner's point of view on what they think and how they see you, and it's not always negative either. But it's just, again, like it's funny stuff. People are like, bro, like I like that. Like, okay, cool. All right, that I can see me saying stuff like that. Okay, cool. You can just, if you can laugh at yourself, you can have fun with it. But it's a great learning experience. So I would definitely say try that.
Absolutely.
All right, this is a good question right here. What's something you've had to unlearn or adjust for the sake of the relationship? I know, bars.
You need to put like a little thing where it's like a bomb
Like
blows
a mic
up.
drop.
Yeah. Right. Oh God. Okay. What's something you've had to unlearn to or adjust for the sake of the relationship? That my husband was not my enemy.
Mm.
Even though we like me, I didn't wake up and say, "Oh, he's my enemy. We gotta fight." Da, da, da. I didn't. That's not what was happening. But through my actions, being quick tempered, easily annoyed, through these things, it kind of made the energy like a battlefield, if you will. So learning and becoming aware and adjusting. I know I'll keep saying this, ladies, but sometimes we don't check our temperaments. We don't check it. So that was one thing I had to unlearn. And also that fairy tales are not real. They are a load of crap.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Probably just curse somebody's dreams.
Yes, fairy tales are a joke, not realistic at all. Um, your husband or your partner doesn't need to be doing what the people are doing on Instagram. On Instagram, you're just seeing a flick of somebody's life, not their real life. When you're really in love with somebody and you're intentionally wanting to grow the relationship, it takes work. It takes more self-work than you trying to work on the other person more than
Right.
anything. So yeah.
You want to ask me a question?
Oh yes. What's something you've had to unlearn or adjust for the sake of the relationship?
Now, if y'all want to go, keep passing this one mic around because we had two mics, but we got 4 kids, and one of them got to the mic and lost it. And I ain't about to compromise a video because we ain't got 2 mics. So
Do it anyway.
do it anyway. Push through adversity, right?
Yes, do it anyway.
So I say a big thing that I had to learn or unlearn or adjust when it comes to the second relationship is that learning emotional intelligence. Uh I was very emotionally illiterate, if you want to say that, if that's like a best way to say it. Like I had to unlearn emotional illiteracy.
You just wasn't tapped in.
All right, so we back. Had a little technical difficulties with the mic. You know what I'm saying? I'm pushing buttons, my fingers too fast. Okay, so back to what I was saying, what are the emotional illiteracy? I had to understand that just because Vincenta had a wide range of emotions and I didn't have those wide range of emotions, it was nothing wrong with her. We just had different experiences. So I had to adjust my mindset on my thought process when it comes to like, oh, here you go, she crying again. Oh, here you go. You know what I'm saying? She got an attitude about something. She feeling something like, because me bringing that attitude of is something wrong with her because she just experienced emotions differently than I do, was damaging our relationship. And it was triggering for her. And I had to change that and adjust that for the sake of the relationship because it wasn't gonna work if I was continuously triggering her because of my emotional illiteracy. All right. Let's just say that. So maybe emotional unintelligence. Maybe we should say that. I don't know how to go. Somebody
People in the comments.
drop in a comment. Help a brother out. Help a brother out what I'm trying to say.
Put it in the comments.
All right, cool. So started out great, started out great. Do want to take a break here and say this, right? So today what we're doing is we're celebrating our 3-year anniversary. Today is our 3-year anniversary. And so, like I said before, we definitely wanted to take this time out to help some people out. So on our anniversary, we wanted to give back to others that we can help and like I say, our whole job and what we want to do is to prepare others for marriage and protect marriage. My wife and I are very big in marriage. We feel like it's an experience that you gotta experience. Just like people say you gotta cliff jump and jump out of planes and saying drive a car fast, whatever the situation is. It's one of those
Jump over the
experiences.
broom.
Jump over the broom, bro. You gotta jump over the broom. All right. So that was a quick little chop off, right? We go hop back into it. So now what we're going to talk about is connection and communication. How has our connection and communication really went over in these past 3 years? The first 3 questions we're talking about personal growth and lessons that we learned. Now we're going to talk about connections and communication. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this question, right? How has your communication changed or improved over the last 3 years?
Ooh, vastly. Okay, it has changed vastly. I always feel like I've been big, like I always believe that I have been great at communication. But I also learned too that just because I communicate a certain way, other people don't receive that, especially your spouse. Okay. 10 times out of 10, your spouse is probably going to communicate totally different than you do. I know there's a few amazing married couples out there that they communicate the same, but that's just typically just not the case on average. And that's okay because you can make it better. But how has my communication changed or improved? I realized that I can't go all around the river bend when trying to communicate with them. You know what I'm saying? I got to give the backstory. We got to take a long walk. And he's like, hey, I just need point A, B, and that'll equal C. So being more clear to him in my communication, I believe that that's changed over the last 3 years, and trying to control my emotions, not saying that I can't be emotional, but like um still being solution oriented through the emotion. I used to be very like, I want to discuss the problem. I want to romanticize the problem. Didn't realize that's what I was doing, but I just, the problem and how it made me feel and all of these things like that. And I just don't, my husband just does not hear anything. He just hears the problem. Now, if that's what we're discussing, if we're just discussing the problem and this is not a conversation for a solution, I need to let him know that up front. So he's not thinking about solutions. Like, okay, we're just going to discuss the problem and just work. It's going to frustrate him on the inside, but he's going to be there to listen to me now at this point, 3 years into marriage. He's going to listen, but if on automatic, the best way to communicate with him is to be solution oriented, even if I am coming with heavy emotions. And if I can't find a solution, to just communicate that. But like I said, just don't go all around the riverbed. Like let's get to it. Let me lay things out, and let's see how we can go from there. So I think that's how my communication has improved over the last 3 years, because it used to be a jumble.
Yeah.
It was a roller coaster. Would you agree?
I definitely agree. And just going off of the question, just repeating the question again, how has my communication changed or improved? How has my communication
Sorry.
it's touching stuff. Always touch like look, I'm running this one.
Yes, sir.
How has your communication changed or improved? I'll say this. Push button.
Okay.
My bad. Just
I was gonna
breaking all habits.
sound.
I got you. You're doing
Sound
some.
recording?
We got all the record we need right here. No sound recording.
Okay.
Everything
is content.
We working together. We're working together. Working together. All right. So, when it comes to communication, how to improve and change, I would definitely say what I feel like that men have to learn when it comes to communicating to women, and I feel that we don't learn. We learn a lot of things as men. We learn how to provide. We learn how to protect, right? We learn how to, be there financially, physically, but we're not taught how to be there mentally and emotionally for women and how to communicate to women. Most dudes, for most of their life, have talked to dudes. You talk to a female, but you ain't really communicated with a female. It's a difference between talking and communicating when it comes to females. So one of my biggest things that I've changed or improved on is understanding that when we do talk, I can't always fix the problem. For men, I feel that, like she said, we looking at what's the solution? How can we fix it? How can we stop this person from talking? Like we're trying to get how can we stop this? Like it's a lot of talking going on. Like I don't get it. Like for example, I mean, I'm pretty sure some men can hop in the comments and say, nah, especially even with dudes, we're not about to do a whole bunch of back and forth. It's like, all right, bro. I said what I said, you said what you said.
The alpha man.
If we are the alpha man, right? If we still got a problem, okay, bro, let's scrap it down. Like I ain't about to sit here and keep going back and forth and talking with you, bro. Throw hands. But however, we can't do that with females. That's domestic violence, right? That ain't how it works. So sometimes communication for me is more listening. Sometimes they just need to vent, bro. Like even if it's about you, half the stuff they saying, they may have not had everything or have everything in A, B, C, D order like you do, if you communicate that way. But however, like you say, it may go from A to Z to back to B to 2, 3, carry to 1, and you like, bro, I don't even know where this all this came from. But a lot of listen. And I say this to Vincent, and this is like the man secret, and it's probably gonna start some discussions for y'all for your couple if you watching this as a couple, right? I tell Vincent all the time, as a man, when you are married, you have to learn to say, I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry, and I'll do better. I
I
apologize.
mean it though.
I'm sorry, and I'll do better. It's my fault. You're right. I'm sorry. It's my fault. And so I felt like our communication got better when I stopped trying to battle her and showing her that I'm right. Because I don't even know, because again, I'll approach an argument like it's a litigation. Like, okay, we debating, but her points don't make sense. Like I say, it went from A to Z to C. So when I talk about C, she on Z. And she don't even remember half the stuff she said. She don't even remember where the conversation started. So if I try to pinpoint, okay, you said this, now you saying this. When you trying to approach the communication logically, man, that's where we lose because it's not a logical conversation. It can be very irrational, it's all over the place. It's an emotional standpoint. So when I stop approaching, listening more, stop trying to find solutions, and stop trying to approach communication as logical, and then but just sit there and listen and be prepared to say, you know what, babe, I'm sorry, you right, and I'm gonna work to get better. I think it drastically helped our communication in these 3 years.
Oh, that's good. Do you feel like being prepared, like on standby, like, okay, I got to get ready to say these words? What's the difference between saying the words and like actually being prepared to take action on the words that you're saying?
I will tell you straight up, and I feel like, and again, I can't speak for all men, right? But I would say for most men, I talk to a lot of dudes, like a lot of men groups and stuff like that. Most men are prepared just because you have that I'm sorry, because we're looking for the solution. We're willing to, okay, what I got to do to be better? Like, what do you need from me? And again, it may not be perfect first couple of times. I mean, it's like you teach me how to do a 3-point shot, and you expecting me to hit it every time. Like you just taught me this shot. I'm gonna miss a couple of times, but I am practicing and I'm trying to get better, or I'm working to get better. So I say all that to say, to get to the results faster, it's easier for us just to say, I'm sorry, you're right. What can I do better? So we can resolve it, because me going back and forth with you and arguing with you and trying to show where I'm right and you're wrong, it's not going to bring no resolve to it. And for most men, I'm open to hearing you vent, but I don't want to hear the same vent over and over and over again. I want to resolve it so we ain't got to sit down for another 2 hours and talk about
On the same subject.
on the same subject.
Yeah, but sometimes you got to go over the same subject. But I get what you're saying, 1000%.
Right. All right.
You want to make sure it's still recording.
It's still recording.
Okay, how do you know?
Oh no. I didn't stop
Oh,
recording.
it says pause recording.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is recording.
See, damn, you all nervous and stuff.
Okay, I'm just asking.
So back to it, all right. Had another technical difficulty. We'll get it together. You know what I'm saying? Look,
They're not even gonna know once you chop the video.
through that. I mean, but it's not so much gonna be complete editing. It's gonna be raw, you know what I'm saying, naked. Right. You know what I'm saying? Booty naked. All right.
That's how you came in.
Okay, so all right, boom. All right, let's go. 3, 2, 1. All right, so continuing on. Okay. So this is a great question. And I think this question is going to not only help us grow, but I think it's going to help other people grow, because I'm going to actually ask the audience for suggestions on how, what some things that they may do that can, again, help the community out with this question and help us out too. I think this is something that we're still working on. So I'll ask the question, right? I think I may have asked the last question, but if you don't mind, I'll ask this question, right?
Okay.
What's a small habit or routine that helps you stay connected daily?
Like you said, this is something that we're actively working on, because we're like, okay, how do we keep this, or what are the best ways for us to keep this connection going throughout the day, from day to day, even like through when you have those little quarrels or those little tiffs and things of that nature. How do you stay connected spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally? Did I miss anyone? Those are all the Elise,
You know, bro, it should be it's somewhere in there.
financial.
Somewhere in
It's
there.
all of it.
Somewhere in there.
How do you stay connected through a small habit? Some things we've tried is hugging after arguments. I don't know if Tim is really feeling that one. He'd be like, girl. But this is something that we really kind of want to get feedback from you guys that are married and who have successful marriages in your own right of what you believe. What are small habits and routines that help you guys stay connected daily? And what have you seen work? What have you tried that didn't work? We want to hear all of it, because that is an area that we definitely are looking to strengthen every day. But right now, like, just, we do daily kisses, daily hugs, daily touching, always touching in some form of fashion. But that's more like the physical of it. We do pray together. We're working on enhancing our prayer life together. We pray a lot separately, but we're working on enhancing our prayer life together. And but that is kind of all I can think of at this time. But we're definitely gonna get better with that.
For me, I'm just expounding on what you're saying. Definitely, we're looking to strengthen that because we're looking for what's work for us. To comment on the hugging after the argument, yes, it's something that I don't know. I when I'm upset, I ain't trying to touch. We ain't got to talk. You know what I'm saying? Right now, that ain't me, right? But however, it is something that we do. And I'll say this, like, don't think about the daily habits as something for you.
Mhm.
Think about it for something for your partner. For example, the hugging after argument don't do nothing much for me. However, but for her, that helps recenter her. So I do it for her. And a person may say, well, what about yourself? I mean, okay, I do other things maybe for myself, or I have to find something. For me, it just take a little time.
Yeah.
Give me a little time. Let me do a little couple breathers, do a walk or something like that. I come back, I'm good. Because once I drop it, it's gone. I done forgot that we argued. Okay? You know what I'm saying? She'll be like, well, remember when we argued about this? I'm like, nope, I do not at all. You know what I'm saying? I plead the fifth. I can't remember anything. But
plead the fifth mean
plead the fifth means I ain't making a comment. I'm exercising my right not to talk.
But though.
No, that knows. See, but she's trying to argue right now. Yeah. I will say, to add to something you do daily is responding to your partner's love language. I know for Vincenta, for her to feel connected, I think I have basically, I don't want to say manipulated. That's a bad term. But I think I have pretty much changed her love language. And what I mean by that, words of affirmation is definitely one of her biggest love languages, but it was words of affirmation. And I think what
physical touch.
Physical touch. I think I have moved her from words of affirmation first to physical touch first, and then words of affirmation afterwards. Because I do love touches. Like, I do love touches throughout the day. I'm gonna smack some ass. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna smack some ass. I'm gonna grab a titty. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna rub on her neck. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna kiss on her neck, nibble. I'm gonna do something to show her that I'm there. And the way I know that I have changed, pick her up.
Started doing it random.
Oh yeah. Just hey, you want to just throw your wife off? Just randomly walk in the kitchen and pick up. Yeah. Just pick up and throw on the counter. Show her what you're working with. Show you still got.
You gotta show them that you've been in the gym.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? Different. But not for real. Pick up and put it on the counter. Just show her you know I still got. But also too, but talking to them and giving them their love language. Because I know if for us to stay connected on my side, for Vincent to feel connected to me, I do have to touch her. Because if we not touching, she will like, I just feel like you ain't touching me all day. I ain't know you love me today. I thought words of affirmation was your love language. Now it's touch. Okay.
Bro, come on.
Right. So things I actively do, I touch her, but I also and thing I am working on is the words of affirmation of the what's the name called, man?
Words of affirmation?
I'll say it right. All right. Words of
Yeah,
affirmation.
you said it
Okay.
right.
So working on words of affirmations. I'm over my family, we don't do a lot of talking. It's more it's
So that wasn't natural to you.
oh definitely not. Like I mean, I can count probably on two hands the amount of times my mama said, good job. And it's
She gonna tell you what you did wrong
Oh,
though. She gonna get you corrected.
but again, it don't come from a sense of malice. It's
Right,
just what
right.
what she grew up, what she had compared to like my dad. My dad always tell me, "Man, I'm so proud of you."
Yeah.
So he's a big words of affirmation guy, though. He like
is.
words of affirmation.
He is.
You know what I'm saying? That's just how it goes. So, but I've been working actively on giving her words of affirmation and touching. And that's something that, saying a little small habit or routine, I feel that's kind of helped us being connected. And like I say, we're working on other ways to do it too, because we may not be able to always do physical touch or words of affirmation. What are some other things we can get done to strengthen our relationship?
And I feel like we've been laughing together way more than we ever have. Considering that both of us are pretty like Tim's goofy in like his own way. He has more of like a dry humor. I'm just like silly, like just kind of, I guess, very like childlike. So I feel like lately we've been laughing a lot more, even through the storms, even through when things are great, when things are not so great. We've just been choosing to still laugh and move forward. And I think that's a huge leap and bound. I don't even know if it became a habit or a routine, but it kind of natural just started, and I think that's something I definitely want to keep.
All right, cool. So let's get to challenges and growth. All right. So moving from connection and communication, let's move over to challenges and growth. So this question asks, what's been one of the hardest moments in these 3 years and how did you get through it?
Is this gonna get raw and real?
I mean, if you want to start crying,
I didn't mean that's not what
I got some
meant.
tissues in my pocket. I'm ready. I'm ready. I got tissues for your issues, man.
They're not issues.
You right.
It's things I gotta work through.
You are correct.
Oh, one of the hardest moments in these 3 years, and how did we get through it? It was, I would definitely say at the beginning of when we got married. Um, I don't know how honest we want to be. I ain't even gonna say honest, but just how transparent we go. At the beginning of our marriage, I had made a decision selfishly, not intentionally, selfishly, but just kind of just carelessly. It was a careless decision. Um, and we were in a tough spot financially in our marriage at that time, and I had carelessly made the decision to just stop taking my birth control. And I honestly, the intent was never. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know. It was just so careless. It was just a careless. It was a careless mistake that I made unintentionally. Hopefully that makes sense. But it got me in a lot of trouble. And so that was a very hard moment because when I had finally shared it with Tim that I had stopped taking my birth control, we were kind of just chilling that night. Like we were chilling, minding our business, and I was like, yeah, I stopped taking my birth control. And you could hear the room like just stop. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, I stopped it. I think it was this whole battle between the birth control wasn't doing good with my body, and hormones were all over the place and low libido and like all these things. And he was like, why didn't you tell me that? And then that's when the realization of what I had really did, because to him, he had knew that I was pregnant the moment I said that. Me still not even thinking about it. He knew I was pregnant immediately. And that was not what we wanted to do because we were gonna or we had made the decision to stop at 3 kids. We didn't want to have any more because it was a lot. Like I said, men, they want to be where they want to be in the best possible position financially when you're bringing children into the world. And we had just decided to not do that. So my careless decision caused so much turmoil. The devil got in there and he got busy. He got busy. And that was right at the beginning of marriage. And I was just like, I called one of our friends. I was like, I think Tim's gonna break up with me. We just got married. I always jump off the deep end with my emotions. Like if I mess up, I'm like this is it. And so how did we work through that? So much came with that, and maybe we'll make another episode about that entire situation. Um, but I think it just took time. He was hurt. He was very hurt. I hurt him deeply. And it was more so, correct me if I'm wrong, it was more so about the fact that I just didn't even share the decision with him. And we're a couple where we share most decisions with one another, especially when you're talking about um, sex and bringing life into this world and decisions we make with our bodies that affect one another. Um, we make most of our decisions together, and he was just kind of hurt of like, wow, like you didn't even say anything. And he got blindsided with a baby who now she's an amazing blessing, but it wasn't funny at first. Couldn't even imagine our family without her. But at first it was not funny. It was very uncomfortable. It was very distant, very cold. And mind you, we had just got married maybe a couple of months into our marriage, and the adversity came. So the point of that is um, you're going to face adversity. Sometimes your decisions are going to hurt one another, and sometimes you don't even mean to make the decisions that you make, but you still have to ask for forgiveness, and you have to um, truly be remorseful and just continue to reassure them and let them know that. And you have to work on building the trust back up. That was definitely a trust hit for us when I made that decision. Even though it was careless, it still had effects. And so we had to work through that, being that this was the beginning of our marriage, and now we're about to welcome another baby, our fourth baby at that. If y'all don't know, we have 4 kids. We're 4 gang. We have 4 kids. So it just really hurt me that I hurt him like that, and in that capacity to put him in a position to not trust me and not trust that I would make the decisions that are best for our family. So just a lot of forgiveness. And I will never forget one night after the smoke was finally starting to clear. I just was so sad because I was just like, I hurt you, and I'm really sorry. And Tim was like, you have to forgive yourself. You can't just ask forgiveness for me. I've already forgiven you, but you have to forgive yourself. Um, and I think sometimes, especially as wives and probably as husbands too, parents, we're very, very hard on ourselves, very hard on ourselves, especially when we love somebody and we don't want to make mistakes with them. We don't want to hurt them. We don't want to miss mismanage the blessing, that God gave us. So thank you for that. That was a great word. So yeah. And that's how we worked through it. It's just through forgiveness, and it took time. It took time. Because honey, when we went to the doctor's office together, and Tim is he's the type of husband, he'll roll to the OBGYN, you know what I'm saying? Like he's there for all appointments. So we had went to the doctor office and honey, when they told us that we were pregnant, you could hear a pin drop just confirming what he already knew on that night we were sharing with each other. So just we worked through it through time and forgiveness. And I feel like it made us stronger. I feel like we have built our trust back. Trust is always a building thing in relationships. Um and our baby girl, she's perfect. She's perfect. All of our children are perfect, but just to know that we may not have been appreciative or that gift could have been overshadowed um, through my mistake. That was some heavy guilt at first, but just forgiving myself and knowing that my husband forgives me and God forgives me, and just being more careful about the decisions. Um, Even if you think they're a simple decision and it doesn't really mean anything, it could affect more than you know. So just be more aware. That's how we work through it in my thoughts and my mind. So to share, I didn't mean to go all the way there, but
No, I am. I one thing I tell you, the crazy part, like I said earlier, once I let go of something, I really forgot. I really forgot about all that.
how did you? It was
I don't know how.
funny.
I don't know how, but I really, I mean, I when I seen the question, I'm like, I'm
What
trying
do
to
you
think.
remember?
I'm really trying to think. Like when I say I let it go, bro, I let it. I really forget and move on. So, but with you bringing it up, I would definitely say, one, thank you for sharing and being vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of people would have just held that to the grave. You ain't about to share that with no public and people. And but however, I feel like a lot of relationships deal with the violation of trust, whether that's our situation or infidelity or you know what I'm saying, just simple things. It's a violation of trust on somebody's part, and they have to work through it. Um, and even like with infidelity, saying you having to rethink that stuff like that. I mean, for our situation, we got a baby out of right. I got it every day as a reminder that we got a baby here, right? So to talk on that point, that was a tough point in our relationship
At the
because
beginning of the marriage.
it was at the beginning. Like, I mean, to be real, I'm like, okay, we already got 3 kids. All right, so I got the joke I always say we got 3 bastards and one in wedlock. Right? Uh,
Sorry, TJ, to my antenna.
I love them best. But
Y'all got the same mom and daddy.
right. But I say all that to say, so I'm like, all right, we married, we in a fresh, we newlyweds. Let's enjoy being newlyweds for a minute. We don't been through the pregnancy stage. We don't done this already. So let's enjoy just being newlyweds for a minute, just doing crazy stuff, having sex in weird places. Hopefully parents ain't watching this, but hey,
Right.
it's part of being newlyweds. I was married folks. But I say all that to say, but yeah, when she dropped the news on me that she had stopped taking her birth control and I didn't know about it. Oh, you already knew she was pregnant because I was like, you don't know. I know. I feel like, all right, man, tell the truth. After one of the sessions y'all done had, when you drop that load, that you be like, Lord, I'm glad that you on birth control. Because I know you
pray side or I got a vasectomy or whatever.
I'm praying that I didn't untie your tubes with them, right? It was one of them. Like it was one. I know, but it was a couple of episodes. Again, we're newlyweds, right? Yeah. So it was a couple of sessions like that where I'm glad you're on. It's a different feeling, and this may be a little. I gotta keep it real. Yeah. It's a different feeling. Who we are when you busting a nut and you can carefree like, yes. Yes, and you
ain't hit no targets.
I know I ain't hitting no targets. I got the comfortability to know, hey, look,
the eggs gonna drop, the period,
listen, I'm good. I'm good. I ain't got no stress, no worries. And so when she dropped it on me, I was like, oh yeah, your ass pregnant. I know your ass pregnant. We ain't gotta go to verify. She was like, well, why you automatically gonna say that? Like, I already know. So when
Mind you, he instantly goes from happiness to upset. Like he gets quiet, withdrawn. That's how it went.
because to be honest, I was upset because I'm like, okay, let's be real. Like I felt like, okay, it was like you trapped me into another baby. I wasn't prepared for a baby. I mean, I don't think you were prepared for a baby, but however, like she say, I mean, at the time period, I'm a fresh entrepreneur, saying doing entrepreneurship pro full time. She still had her full time job. But money looking a little funny right now. Everything ain't balanced out. We already got 3 kids. Anybody that got one kid can say they don't care about your pockets, bro. Like they cost. Kids cost.
Daycare.
Daycare. I mean, our daycare is more than our mortgage. Like it's
Yes.
ridiculous. So I say all to say, I'm like, okay, I feel like you trapped me into a situation because I didn't have any say so in it. And so yeah, that it violated my trust because I'm like, okay, if you could just carelessly make a decision for that affects both of us, because I would have been open. I would have been open for you to say, all right, I'm going to stop taking my birth control because of this and the third. But all I was looking for is a conversation. We could have looked at other things like, all right, let's try the pull-out method, which ain't worked in the past. But however,
it's because we would have had a discussion about it.
right, we would have had a talk, and I would have been in the loop on what's going on.
Yes.
So, like I say, I'm just out here living free, like it's the way to be. When I should have been locked tight, and yeah, so it was a violation of trust because I was like, you just one, you left me out of a decision that affects both of us, and then two, now you put me in a situation where the type of man I am, I'm not about to let my kids go without. But also too, like it puts you in situations, it puts you in uneasy conversations. That don't always have to be had or need to be had. And put you in situations for choices that you may not want to make. Like, for example, I mean, again, can we be real?
Yeah.
Like, the abortion conversation was on the table. Like, all right, we already got 3 kids, we good. Like, you know, do we really want to have another baby? Like, do we really want to put ourselves through this situation again? All of this stuff like that. And like I said, a lot of that came from a sense of selfishness and again, money issues, ego, all of that stuff. But however, the conversation wouldn't have had to be had, if it was a communication between the both of us. So, but that was something I say that we definitely worked through. And it was uneasy conversations. It was turmoil in the first year of our relationship.
Of our marriage.
Of our marriage, right? Of our marriage, yeah. Not a relationship, but of our marriage.
Because we've been together 11 years.
Yeah. So we've been together 11 years, married 3. So, well, yeah, I mean, that was a big one. Yeah, boy, I think we gonna bless some people today.
Yeah, challenges and growth, honey. Challenges and growth.
So I'll let you ask me the second question.
Okay. All right. So, what's a challenge that brought you closer instead of pulling you apart? That brought us closer instead of pulling us apart. That's a good one.
I think that I'll say this. Vincenta just recently left her job in March. So now we're both full-time entrepreneurs. And going from we always been partners in the business, but I think full-time partners in the business, it's a difference between part-time partners in the business and being full-time partners in the business. I just keep it that real, keep it that way, right? And so us both going full-time together, it has been and continue to be challenges that we have to fight through and get through. But I feel that I could say it just started out uncomfortable. I ain't gonna say it started difficult. It was just uncomfortable because we both breaking routines. She breaking the routine of showing up to a 9 to 5, clocking in and clocking out, having to be busy every 5 seconds of the day. And I'm entrepreneurs, we work in spurts, right? We don't have to be, as soon as I clock in, somebody watching me, I gotta make sure look I'm busy all day. And so she come in moving stuff around, just touching, just gotta be busy. I'm like, you stressing me out. I don't just go sit down somewhere. Like you stressing me the hell out. Like, why are you moving so much? Nobody watching you. Nobody watching you. And again, of course, we gotta do work to make money. But I'm like, every second don't have to be you touch your computer and so it don't go to sleep because that make it seem like you ain't doing no business or you know what I'm saying you ain't doing your job.
God.
So even like little stuff like that. So helping her deal with that, me dealing with sharing space. Like for the longest, she at work. So our office is me. You know what I'm saying? I come in, fix my coffee, sit down, get my chair right. I got my chair adjusted how I like the chair adjusted. I never forget the first day I came in, she beat me to the office and she's sitting in my chair, or excuse me, our chair. Right? She's sitting in our chair. She done rearranged stuff. She done rearranged the whole desk. I had the desk set up perfect how I like it. She done rearranged the desk. She done took all my pens off the desk through the drawer.
Business that day too.
She closed, yeah, she definitely closed the business that day. So that's why we didn't fall out, because she closed the business. If she ain't closed no damn business, we was gonna definitely have a conversation. I'll tell you that right now. But nah, I mean, moving on myself, just getting that comfortability or just rearranging my comfortability. Okay, but now we're working together. But I'll say out of the uncomfortable conversations that we had to have, I feel like that's something that is bringing us closer because now it's like, um, not only are we working together, we're growing in our marriage together because for you guys that's out there as entrepreneurs together with your spouse or significant other, um, home problems are work problems, right? Work home problems are business problems. It's no big separation of the two. And I tried, I can do it. I can compartmentalize. But when you working with your significant other, and it may not be always the dudes, it may get some dudes out there that can definitely be like, oh, now we had this problem at the crib, and so we got this problem at the office, right? And can't just continue with business. And it females, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's you got to know who your partner is.
Yes.
And a lot of times go ahead and squash the beef so y'all can get it done. So that's what I say on that. And I'll let you answer this.
Squash it. That was pretty much it. I think that was a great challenge because like our first couple of days was like it was rough. I remember we went to lunch on that our first Friday, working together, and that ended in tears, and so it was just coming to the realization of that. How is it how do things need to work between us so we're not stepping on each other's toes and frustrating and annoying each other every second.
Yes.
So that was a good. So okay, so now we're going to transition into goals and vision.
Hey.
So I'll ask you,
Okay.
how have your goals as a couple, or how have our goals as a couple changed since our wedding day?
Mm. Mm. That's a great question. I would say honestly, and from my perspective, on our wedding day, I think our biggest goal was just making sure we stayed married. I mean, I think that should be anybody's goal. The first day of marriage, right?
Oh,
I say all that to say though, how has it changed? I think it hasn't changed from not staying married. It's evolved to more.
yeah,
Like, of course, we want to stay married, but how do we want our marriage to be? Happily married. How do we want our marriage to be? Do we want to just be married, or do we want to be miserably married, or happily married? How do we want our relationship to look? Be, and also too, I feel like our evolution and our goals, period, through business, our relationship, through raising our kids, a lot of that has changed for the better because we have more knowledge now. I feel that, your goals and your dreams will change as a couple together the more y'all learn each other and the more knowledge that y'all obtain about each other and what each other wants so that y'all can become one. I think that's the biggest thing when you are looking at goals with a couple. You got to realize that y'all got to get on one page and become one. That's what marriage is. Merging together and becoming one. And so I feel like that's how for me, my perspective, that's how our goals have changed since the wedding day.
Yeah, definitely same. I just keep looking at the question. I'm like, how have our goals changed? Like Tim said, we were just I don't even know if like we had any really big goals.
That's what I'm saying. Just stay married.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, okay, we are now we're getting married, we're joining to become one. We didn't really honestly didn't even understand what one meant, what oneness really is. Like it sounds good. And you know that's a part of marriage, but nobody like really talks about how to get there. So I think now we have our goals hit all of the pillars. Faith, family, fitness, faith, family, fitness,
Finance.
finance, and future self. So we kind of go do our goals based on that. What do we want to do for our fitness? You know, what does health mean to us? What things do we want to accomplish for our family or experience together as a family? And also for our marriage. And also to like what do we want our faith to look like? How do we want to pray? How often do we want to pray together? What do we want to accomplish through prayer? How should we grow spiritually? Like now we're having all these conversations and these goals in these different categories versus before we were just a, a young a boyfriend and girlfriend who transitioned into marriage and we hadn't become truly married. I feel like you become truly married outside of the paper as you continue to grow, like you said, and evolve.
True.
So that's how our goals have changed. All right. So, next question in goals and vision. What does growing together look like for us moving forward? Give me an answer.
You can start first. It's fine.
Growing together, I believe, to me, looks like it goes back to those 5 pillars. It looks like expounding in those areas. How good can those areas get? You know, mastering, I guess you could say, but still learning, still open, um, and growing together. And a couple of weeks ago, I asked him, I said, did you realize that the level of spiritual oneness it was going to take for us to like actually enjoy our marriage and for us to actually continue to keep thriving? And he was like, no, I know I didn't. I personally didn't realize the spiritual connection of it all. But that's what growing together looks like is that we can like just be one regardless of what happens, and just choose each other through that and just continue to keep getting better as individuals. Because when we become better as individuals, it makes the marriage better.
Like you said, what does growing together look like for us moving forward?
Mhm.
Like you already said, really just amplifying the 5 F's. Really getting to that sense of oneness where
Mhm.
I already know what you're thinking, you know what I'm thinking, and we move it, and it's true partnership. I think that's one of the things that we always have been great at is partnership. Being on one accord when it comes to facing problems and you know what I'm saying, handling the kids and stuff like that. Like even I mean, again, even our first, you know what I'm saying, year or two in our relationship, not even our marriage, our relationship, when we found out that we was pregnant with Tamaya, it was like how we handled that situation, which that's a completely different, you know what I'm saying.
That's a whole nother episode. Lord, we got episodes that we need to drop.
So that's all. But again, it taught me real quick that you are a real partner. And so what I want, what I have, what I look for, or when I'm moving forward, I just wanted to continue to amplify that partnership, just completely get on one accord and become, you know, one. Right?
Yes.
And so, all right.
So growing our partnership.
Correct.
Growing together.
Yes. Correct. So all right, so we covered goals and visions. Now we get into our last section. All right. So if you don't hung in here this far, hopefully you got some good entertainment. You got some great things that's helping your relationship, or if you out here looking for a husband, looking for a wife, some things that you would want in a partner, or some things that you want to look forward to, or how to prepare yourself for a partner. Because that's another big thing that people need to understand. You got to prepare yourself for your blessing. It don't just hop in your lap. If you ain't prepared for it, it's not gonna come.
Yeah.
But that brings us to our point of joy and gratitude,
Yeah.
right? Joy and gratitude.
And before we move to the questions, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks.
Okay, cool. Done dropped in. We got to put a little thumb in there, right? All right, so joy and gratitude. Okay, so Vincenta, what's something you appreciate about me now that you didn't notice earlier?
That is a very good question. What do I appreciate you now that I didn't notice early on? Your ability to move on. Your ability to move on. I used to think that it was nonchalant, which you still can be a little nonchalant,
Yeah.
but but your ability to move on, as I used to be a person who held on to everything, thinking that me holding on to it um hurt the other person, but it was only to my downfall. So your ability to really move on and continue to show love to people um, is definitely something that I appreciate for sure. That I thought was you just being an asshole in the beginning.
I mean, I'm still an asshole, but I can definitely take that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I get it.
aside from that, sometimes you're really being an ass, and sometimes you're really just like, no, like it's okay. That happened. Let's move forward and keep going.
Say what it's what. I appreciate that. That's so nice. I just gotta cry now. But now,
Stop it.
so what's something that you appreciate about your partner now that you didn't notice early on? Um, I would say Vincenta's care, right? Her genuine care for people. Again, I always seen that she was always hugging people and you know what I'm saying, talking to people and giving people those words of affirmation, like girl, you are beautiful and all that stuff like that. This and the third. And I'm not gonna say that um I don't think I appreciated it of what she's actually doing. Like for example, like I mean, this happened like within the last couple of months. We was out on our walk around our office. We got a nice little river walk around our office, right? And we was walking, and it was this couple that was sitting there. And Vincenta, part of our business is talking to people, looking at potential business partners and stuff like that. So Vincenta, like, let's talk to these people. I'm like, I'm already like, I ain't trying to talk to nobody right now. I'm walking, I'm chilling. But I'm like, okay, cool. So we went and we talked to them. And Vincenta was just talking to the lady, right? And we're just talking to her. And just from Vincenta's warm spirit and her talk of care and her words of affirmation, um, and like, it ended up with her hugging the girl and the girl crying and all that stuff like that. The girl was like, I really needed this today. Like today was a really rough day for me.
Yes,
And
family here.
she didn't have no family here. They had just moved to Charlotte.
Yeah, small kids. Yeah.
And she was having a real rough day. And like, and it don't cost you nothing to care for people. But how Vincenta gives care to people and how she just has a sense to give care when it's needed is something that I didn't really appreciate before that I really appreciate now. And I definitely give her space because I know that she's blessing people. Like she's really helping people and blessing people with just her genuineness to move on and get to that next day. Because you never know if she didn't offer that conversation, if she didn't offer that hug, if she didn't offer that care, what would that person day have been for the rest of the day? You know what I'm saying? We never know that, my homeboy Kobe will say, he could probably gonna watch this, right? And he say, it don't cost you nothing to give somebody a smile. It don't cost you nothing to give somebody love because you never know if that person was thinking about taking a life that day. And the fact that you smiled at them, you talked to them, you asked about them, changed their mind. And so I'll definitely give you that. That's my appreciation for you, babe. Definitely, but also for y'all, man. Like it don't cost you nothing to smile, to just ask to see how a person's doing it. So definitely, I didn't appreciate that early on, but I definitely appreciated it.
Thank you.
Most
Thank you.
definitely. Most definitely. So let's move on to our last question. Drum roll. What moment in the last 3 years made you think this is why I married you? Mm. Boom. let you go first.
Why you don't want to go first?
You know what I'm saying? Because you already got the mic. You got the mic.
Okay, moment in the last 3 years that made me think this is why I'm married you. Like one specific moment. I was like, this is it. I I I don't have a specific moment off the top of my head. It's a feeling.
Right.
Um, it's a feeling that continues to be magnified over time. And I just know like, or let me it's a feeling and it's a I don't know if it's a verb, adjective, or whatever, but your willingness to get better, your willingness to connect with me more as my husband, um, your willingness to let me be me, to let me travel. And I'm not saying let me like I'm some like dog or like a pet or something, like property, but your willingness to let me just be free and be who I am, um, is it continues to reassure me that I make the right decision for sure. For sure. And like I said, it's a feeling. It's not once, but like, okay, you did this thing today. Okay, if y'all want me to give you an event, last week, Tim thought it was our anniversary. My hair was looking crazy. Okay. I was looking real crazy. All right. And he had it set up to get my hair done. And he picked out the style too. This is the style he wanted. He wanted a blonde Barbie. Okay, that's what he got. A blonde Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the Barbie part. I'm just joking. I know it was.
No problem. I'll let you. You got your moment.
You didn't pick the blonde?
I picked the blonde because you was like, I would like to do a blonde hairstyle.
Oh yeah.
I personally don't have to. I'm not a blonde person. I mean, it looks great on me. I'm not a person of. I mean, blonde is not a natural hairstyle.
Right.
You know, what I'm saying for our people. So I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm not partial.
Well, you
to
got
it.
to next time. You got to pick the one that you want.
Okay, so
Okay. I'm gonna dye my hair blonde one day too, just to try. I tried red, tried all types of colors. But anyway, the point is, he had it all set up. I didn't have a clue. Normally, I'd be looking to see like, he planning something. I didn't know. I didn't know anything that he was doing. He hired the lady. He already had them paid. It was ready to go. So I just was like, wow, like that site just really cared. Um, just doing those special things. I'm like, and he went out of his way to get it done while helping his parents, while watching the kids. Like it was a whole thing. And so I was grateful, beyond grateful. And that was definitely a specific event. I'm like, okay, I made the right decision. But overall, it's a feeling. It's a feeling that every time we're together, every time we pray together, every time we grow together, every time we laugh together, every time we get mad at each other, every time we go through things and we come out better, it just continues to reassure me that this is okay. This is why I married him. This is why I'm with him. He is my person, the perfect person for me. So yeah.
that's a perfect person. You man, don't boost me up.
No, you don't need no boosting.
I boost myself up in
Yes, you don't need no boosting.
all right. So to bring the finality and answer the question, I have to ditto what you said.
Yes.
It's more of a feeling than anything. I can't even really remember what we were doing and what the situation was, but I can definitely remember the feeling that I had. It was like one of those days we were just sitting around clowning all day. We had fun that whole day. And I think it may have been a day that we switched the roles and we was doing
that was a good day.
But I remember, and I think I even said it or something. I was like, bro, I really love you, bro. Like
You did.
I really love you. You know what I'm saying? And translate that, I'm glad I married you. You know what I'm saying? Well, this is why I married you because we have fun.
We do.
I can tell you straight up, what marriage is to me is a long lasting friendship. Where people marriages get miserable is because they lose track of their friend. Like, this is my best friend. Like, it's certain stuff that I come home. It may have been a guy talk. Me and my homie talking. I can't share everything with her, but just the fact that that's my homegirl, is my best friend. I want to share my day with her. I be having a whole. I can't say that. I can't share everything, right? But you want
Yes.
to. You have the feeling to want to share everything. Uh, and I'll tell you that, just the fun that we have together and, saying the times that we have, it's more good times than bad times. And if your marriage is going through a rough time, just know that that time it don't last forever.
Right.
Put in the work. Put in the work to get to the good times. You're not gonna get to the good times until both of y'all are making an effort to put in the work to get there. And I would definitely say that. So first I'll start with this, babe. Any last comments, you know what I'm saying, for our impromptu anniversary start talk or some stuff like that? I don't know how you say it, but any last comments that you want to leave the people with?
No.
Take the mic.
Okay. Last comments. You can do it. You can do it. Do not let social media trick you. Marriage is amazing. Marriage is not always perfect, but marriage is amazing when you do it with the right person, and it can truly enhance your life. Like, I really want y'all to make your soul. Even when you feel like there's resistance, it's a opportunity to become better. Because marriage is only going to give you a mirror of what you're showing. And if you don't like what you see, then it's probably some things you need to fix within yourself. So those are kind of like my last comments. And I pray that y'all enjoyed this episode. Tim ran this whole thing. I didn't even know we was doing this today. Knew we was shooting a video, but I didn't know we was gonna do all of this. So hopefully we gave you guys like some great nuggets, and yeah.
And I'll finish us up. It wasn't just because I was going to just say right, but anyway, I'll finish it up with the last comments. Like you said, it's worth it. Marriage is worth it.
Yes.
And one thing I'll add on to, don't let social media trick you into instant gratification when it comes to your marriage. And I think that may be, you know what? We keep talking about episodes like we creating a podcast. This is just supposed to be one video. Since you trying to create a podcast,
We may need to do
we
it.
may need, put in the comments if you think we should start a podcast.
Yes.
Okay, but
Or keep going on our YouTube
we'll
channel.
just keep on. Just keep putting out impromptu episodes. Let's just say that.
Yes.
But I'll say all this to say, don't look for instant. Don't think that, oh, their relationship is great. This how we need to do, or and I'm gonna save some of this information for when we have our social media episode, right? But I'll say, put in the work, bro. Like, put in the work. Put your pride and your ego aside and put in the work. You will not get to the blissness of marriage if you sit here holding on to your ego, holding on to your pride. If you gotta grovel, grovel, right? If you gotta say I'm sorry, say I'm sorry.
It's
You know,
okay.
it's okay.
You won't bleed and you won't be in pain if you say it.
Like I say, the only thing that's hurting is your pride.
Yeah.
Let it go, right? So I like to say, man, out of 3 years of marriage, I definitely can say that, put your pride and ego aside and put in the work.
Yep.
Okay? Put in the work, put in the work, put in the work.
And put God first.
God first. Can't forget that part. Big G-O-D. You know me. But all that to be said, man, look, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Again, leave in the comments that, hey, if you want to hear some more information, you want to see more of us, let us know. We definitely gonna be chopping this up, dropping a couple of shorts. You feel me, bro? Just support the page, support the channel, to let us know that this is something that's wanted, it's something that's needed out in the community, and we're gonna definitely keep providing and provide the service of just sharing our experience and sharing what we do and who we are. Okay. So until next time, Tim and B signing off, man. Y'all enjoy y'all time and be blessed.
We go.